Okay, so picture this. France in the 1780s is completely broke. Like maxed out every credit card they own broke. They spent all their money helping America win their revolution, which is hilarious because now they desperately need one of those themselves. But does King Louis care? Not even a little. This guy is in his royal workshop, bent over tiny lock mechanisms, making the fanciest locks you have ever seen. His hobby is literally locks while his country burns. And Marie Antoinette, she rolls up to a royal ball with a 3-foot sailing ship sitting on top of her head, a whole boat in her hair. Meanwhile, peasants are fighting over stale bread. Honestly, they deserved everything that came next. So Louis finally realizes, hey, maybe we should actually talk to people about this whole money problem. He calls the Estates General, which is basically a big meeting of representatives. Sounds reasonable, right? Except nobody had called this thing in 175 years. That is older than the United States. And when the commoners who represent like 98% of the population show up ready to participate, Louis basically goes, nah, you guys get one combined vote, and the nobles and clergy each get their own. So the majority of the country can be outvoted 2-1. The commoners were like, this is garbage, and locked themselves in a tennis court to complain, which, honestly, is the most French response possible. Okay, so now people are really mad and they decide to storm the Bastille, which is this big, scary fortress prison in Paris. Everyone believed it was packed with political prisoners and hidden weapons and all kinds of dark secrets. So this massive mob shows up with pitchforks and torches, and they break down the doors ready for this huge dramatic prison break moment. They charge inside screaming and waving weapons around, and they find 7 dudes. 7. That is it. 2 of them were mentally ill, and one guy was literally locked up by his own family because they thought he was annoying. The mob just stood there like, most underwhelming revolution moment ever. So things keep getting worse. And now the women of Paris are completely fed up because there is no bread anywhere. Thousands of them march through pouring rain all the way to Versailles, which is like a 12-mile walk in the mud. They are soaking wet, furious, and armed with whatever they grabbed from their kitchens. They basically drag the entire royal family back to Paris by force. But then Louis gets the brilliant idea to sneak out of France in disguise, which honestly might have worked except for one tiny detail. His face was literally printed on every coin in the entire country. A border guard recognized him from the money. From the money! That is the worst wanted poster in human history. After they chop off Louis' head, this guy Robespierre takes charge, and things go from chaotic to absolutely terrifying. He starts what is called the Reign of Terror, which sounds like a metal band name, but is way worse. In just 10 months, his government guillotines 17,000 people. 17,000. That is more people than live in most small towns. But here is where it gets really wild. Robespierre gets so paranoid about enemies that he starts guillotining his own friends. His actual friends who put him in power. And his remaining friends are sitting there like, dude, if he is killing his friends, we are definitely next. So they grab him and guillotine him. The ultimate buddy betrayal speed run. So after all this complete chaos, this short, stocky guy named Napoleon shows up, and everyone is just too tired to argue anymore. He declares himself emperor, which is a bold move for a guy who is 5'7". Now that was actually average height back then, so stop laughing. He starts conquering basically all of Europe like he is collecting countries for a board game. Spain, Italy, Austria, Germany, he just rolls through everybody. But then this absolute genius decides to invade Russia in winter. In winter! The Russian winter completely destroyed his army. Soldiers froze to death by the thousands. Napoleon went from ruling most of Europe to losing to weather. The biggest empire in modern history taken out by a cold breeze. Honestly relatable.